Hello, welcome to May 1st, 2023 Civilization Architecture stream. Today I'd like to talk about how we plan to make the world a better place and what you can do to make the world a better place. If you become a better person, then the world becomes a better place. Because you will have become better and you are part of the world. And so if the rest of the world stays the same and you are better, then the world has become a better place. And so one of the easiest ways that you can make the world a better place is by becoming better. Working on yourself is actually the path to making the world a better place. This is one of the strategies that I would like to employ at Civilization Architecture to make the world a better place. I would like to empower people to better themselves and in turn better the world. I would like to create a set of applications that you can use to monitor your self-growth and to gain self-awareness so that you can be aware of where your weaknesses are and where your strengths are. I don't like that sentence because I said self-aware, make you aware of where. This triple where. How do I say this better? I want to help you realize what your strengths and weaknesses are so that you can make an informed decision on where you would like to improve. And once you have made that decision on where you would like to improve, I would like to provide you with the tools and education to help you improve, the resources to help you improve. And I would like to provide this by allowing you to find the traits that are your strengths and weaknesses. And then for each trait that you find, I want to provide resources that I have found to improve that trait, followed by products and services that other people provide, which you can access either free or paid to improve that trait. I want to serve as a catalog for personal development. I would like to have a search engine for you to find resources to make yourself a better person. I would like to think of this as kind of the yellow pages or phone book of the pre-internet era, when you would go to this thick book to find a plumber or a gardener or an electrician or someone to solve one of your life's problems, dentist. This would typically be where you would find it, in a phone book. You would go to a phone book, look for the dentist page, see the list of dentists in your zip code, and then contact one of them for your teeth. Then they created the internet, and there was a website where you could type in dentist, and the website would give you a list of dentists in your area. And then they created Google, and now everyone uses Google for finding different things, like finding a dentist. I would like to create a phone book for personal development, for maturity. I want to track the curriculum of maturity for personal development. This will be the EQ curriculum that complements the pre-existing curriculum of school. where they teach you English, they teach you math, they teach you history, science, PE, so on. There's a curriculum that schools provide to get you into college. And then there's the curriculum that college provides for you to get a degree. And then there's another curriculum for getting a PhD, doctorate, and so on. So there's all these well-defined curriculums. And I would like to add a curriculum for personal development, for you to learn how to recognize and manage your emotions, to assess your relationships, to determine whether they are healthy or unhealthy, for you to understand your own thoughts and identity and personality, so that you can decide whether you like yourself or not, what it is that is yourself, whether you would like to change yourself, and be able to change yourself. Also to provide you with the tools to communicate with others, and specifically for you to understand and listen carefully to people who are different than you, so that you can be more empathetic to the world, which would make the world a better place due to your empathy, and it would make the world a better place for yourself, because then it's less scary, less chaotic, less confusing, because you would understand what's going on, why people do things the way that they do, and you can be more forgiving and welcoming and tolerant of different people because you can understand them. They're not so different anymore. There's something that you understand. There's something familiar. Instead of being different and chaotic and scary and unknown, it becomes known and understood and familiar. I think as part of this curriculum, I would also like to add a diversity and inclusion section where you would learn the backgrounds and perspectives of people from different ages, different geographical backgrounds, different cultures, different families, different thought processes, so that you can begin to model the world with diversity in mind. I think one of the reasons why I have been successful in diversity and inclusion from the perspective of being able to tolerate and understand people's differences is because when I was a kid, my mom was a traveling piano teacher. What this means is she would drive to different people's homes to teach their children piano. And me being too young to stay at home alone would tag along with my mom and essentially sit in the living rooms of these families while my mom taught their children piano. This afforded me the unique opportunity to see what it was like in the living rooms of hundreds of people's houses. And I didn't really appreciate it at the time because it was normal to me, but as I grew older, I came to the realization that it's not normal for people to have visited the living rooms of hundreds of different families. And what I gained from doing that is the understanding of how different people live from one another. From the size of the living room, to the decorations of the living room, to the noise level of the living room. Some homes, you have to be completely silent. Talking is not allowed. Making noise is not allowed. You just sit there and be quiet. That is the living room. There are other homes where you might see other siblings or maybe the parents walk around every now and then in the living room to do an errand, do a task, go to the kitchen, get some snacks. And then again, moving forward, in that spectrum, you have the very noisy families where you have chaos, noise all the time, yelling, screaming, playing, discussing, loud conversations. It's a very different vibe. Also, the number of people in the household. Sometimes I'm sitting in the living room alone, sometimes with 2 people, sometimes with 7 people. And then comes the cleanliness. Sometimes it's very neat and organized. Sometimes it's very dusty. Sometimes it's very cluttered. Sometimes it's very clear. Sometimes there are items that are very old, and sometimes everything is new. Like you get a huge range of living rooms when you visit hundreds of homes. And as a kid, this really helped me to get used to the idea that everyone has a different house. Never did I ever think, oh, my house, my family does things this way. Therefore, all of my friends, when they go home, their family must do it the same way too. No, that never was in my mind. And I've learned that for some of my friends, that has been what has been in their mind. They think that other people live similar lives to them. And I think one of the benefits of my childhood and why I've been successful in diversity and inclusion is because I know for a fact that literally no one's living room is the same. Everyone's is different in all these different dimensions and categories. And so, returning to this concept of education and diversity and inclusion, I think it's important for everyone to experience visiting the living rooms of hundreds of different families to see how different each family is from one another. Even if they're within the same culture, the living room is different. And when you go visit different cultures, then the living room is even more different. And I think it's important to understand this, to see the person in the real world, say at school, see your classmates at school, and then see how their homes are so different from yours. That's a very valuable exercise. Perhaps one of the early applications that I can develop can be a living room application. I guess if it's targeted for children, it would be a play date in the living room, where parents would facilitate play dates from different children in their living room, and the goal would be to kind of host the largest diversity of children that they can within the living room. And then for adults, you could do the same thing in terms of trying to host as many people as you can within your living room as an adult. I guess the immediate concern that comes to mind with this idea is safety. You don't really want to tell people where you live because your address is very private information and requires a lot of trust to give away. In a way, it's very much a invasion of privacy a little bit. There's a feeling of giving up your privacy, which is ironic since we are on social media and on Google and Apple, and they steal all of our data anyway. For us to be concerned about, or okay, I'll take it back, not steal, but like they have a lot of our data anyway. They, because I want to be precise about my words, that's why I'm updating the steal word. Since I'm posting this on the internet, I don't want to get in trouble. Like, there is data collection that is legal within the terms and conditions that you have signed, that gives them the ability to take a lot of information that is normally considered private. It's ironic that most people would be willing to use these internet services and give up a lot of private data and not be willing to give that same like privacy of your living room to your friends or coworkers or family. And so I think, or strangers. And so I think perhaps piggybacking on chat roulette, where chat roulette kind of gives you a sense of people's bedrooms or the setup behind their laptops or computers, I want to create a application and platform for people to see the diversity of different people's homes. Kind of like house hunters or house interiors, where you would visit many people's homes. However, in house hunters, the host is visiting and interacting with the guest. And you, as the viewer, so millions of people watch the show, but only one person, the host, talks to the homeowner and the person who lives there. And so that means that the millions of people don't get to practice engaging with someone with a different culture than them. I think that hosts get paid because of their skill at conversing with a diverse background of guests. And that's the skill that I want to promote within our society. And so when you watch a host use that skill, that's very different than you practicing the skill. The equivalent analogy I would say is the difference between watching a professional chef cook and then you cooking. There is a huge contrast between being able to say, I watched a professional chef cook and I can cook that professional dish. That's why I don't like the idea of a host talking to guests professionally and you watching that show versus you talking to guests unprofessionally, making a lot of mistakes, and then learning from them. And this kind of leads to the conflict resolution aspect of my product that I want to really push out, because my expectation is that when you do meet people from diverse backgrounds, you will brutally offend each other. Like, unintentionally, most of the time, 99% of the time, unintentionally. You will say something that will be offensive to them that you won't realize, or they will say something that is offensive to you that they won't realize. And then managing that offense, managing your emotions, working on your listening, working on your communication, working on your conflict resolution, that's going to be critical and key in having a successful diversity and inclusion interaction. Okay, I think that's a long enough discussion for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you like that idea, please email me, support me, message me, check out the Discord, sign up for the stream next week, and thank you for watching. Hope to see you again. Bye. Have a great week.